the carpenter from Newcastle North Star Sirens after the doubleheader weekend against Adelaide Adrenaline. How are you guys feeling after the weekend? It was, from where I was standing, it was a good contest.
It was pretty intense, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. The whole weekend, very intense actually.
Yeah.
It was. You could tell that there was a lot up for grabs with this weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean, coming into this weekend, we knew it was going to be tough. Having seen the score lines in the previous weekends, especially how they played against Melbourne, watching the YouTube clips, which was good for us. So we knew it was going to be tough, and we just tried to do whatever we could. We tried to work on a few of our set plays and just get a bit of passing out there. Couldn't capitalise on some of the goals. We just made a couple of errors, and Adelaide seemed to pick up on those. I don't think the scoreline actually reflects how hard we played and how intense the game actually was.
Yeah, because I was going to say it was a pretty even contest all round. From my view, I thought that Adrenaline probably had a bit more time on the puck over the weekend, but without really dominating, so to speak. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last two rounds we played against Brisbane, which was a much slower game. So our girls, we tend to hang on to the puck that little bit more, and we started off with that, which obviously it didn't work for us. We just needed to release the puck a lot quicker, and unfortunately, just didn't go our way.
Yeah, because I mentioned with the Adrenaline girls that you ladies are probably the first team to really put some real fair income pressure on Adrenaline. Good physical and good skating pressure. Was that something you guys worked on quite a bit? Did you change much of your game to come into this to try and...
Well, with us, unfortunately, we had a short bench. There are a few girls that couldn't make it this weekend, and then, towards the end, a couple of injuries, so the bench was even more shortened. Yeah. So we did have to change a few things around, just move a couple of players and see what was going to work. And we did get a couple of goals out of it, but...
There was a number of times that you were able to get in behind the Adrenaline defence, which has been the catalyst of their game, and probably one of the few sides, probably the only side to be able to do that. But did you feel that you were able to capitalise enough and keep the puck in Adelaide's zone long enough?
I think the number of times that we did, it was fantastic. There were a couple of unlucky shots that, we had a few 2-on-1s, 2-on-0s, and we had a player right there on the post for the back door and just missed it. I guess that's something we just need to work on, just more of our shots. And, I think yesterday we only had 16 shots on net. Obviously we can't win games like that when the opposition takes 35, and I'm not sure what the shots on were for today, but, we just need to keep battling and taking more shots on net and just keep fighting to the end.
Was something that you looked at coming into this weekend trying to get control of the neutral ice? Because that's where Adrenaline has dominated most of the year, through the neutral ice and their defence. Was that something that you guys looked at, or did you more focus on yourselves and your game?
I guess because we know how strong Adrenaline is, we did a lot of work on our D-zone coverage.
Yep.
And unfortunately, like I said before, just holding onto the puck that little bit longer, Adelaide were able to intercept the pass, pick it up, Also being a much smaller rink, we had to just adjust our game a little bit as well. So we did try to get in the zone and get into the offensive end, but if there were a couple of players out of place, just making a couple of errors here and there, we just had to bust back to get back into our D zone and start all over again.
So how much you guys going to have to look at changing when you go back home and you host the Adrenaline back at home with a slightly with a bigger rink? Is there going to be a different focus to what there was here this weekend?
Well, I guess there's a few things that we do need to work on, and we know that now. Adrenaline's obviously going to be our toughest competition. Hopefully the next time we see them here will be in the grand final, and hopefully we'll be able to take it to them now that we know their style of play, and we'll just keep building on that.
And just going back on injuries, how is Shana?
I'm not sure actually. Her gear's still here. She's gone to the hospital. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's unfortunate, but I guess she doesn't have to do the national team training tonight, so gets out of that one.
Yeah, because it was a fair old collision up against the
I'm
boards.
not sure what she's done. I don't think it's her knee. I think she's done something to her shin, but I don't know.
She was in a bit of pain. So we just we all hope that she's okay and it's nothing real serious. So.
Well, she is one of our key forwards, so we do need her back as soon as we can.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of key players, Amelia Matheson had a pretty standout
weekend.
I think.
It's fantastic with Amelia that we can. We started her off as D this weekend, and then towards the end of yesterday's game, we shifted her with Melissa Rulli. So Melissa stepped up in D, and Amelia went up front, and it was great. And today we tried the same thing again, and Amelia went and scored a goal for us. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
She's a very versatile player. You can put her in any position, and she will get the job done.
Yeah, and you've actually just mentioned the next player I was going to bring up,
Melissa
Rulli, because I thought yesterday in game one, I thought in defence she was outstanding.
Yeah.
And she really worked hard, and today as well, very consistent for the whole weekend.
Well, again, she's another one of those versatile players. She's been playing the game for so long. She switches between D and forward. Again, put her anywhere, she can get the job done. She plays a fantastic role as a centreman as well, especially with their wing partners, just making sure they're in the right position and trying to produce results out of that.
Yeah, another player that's just smart, that's game smart, that reads the game well and knows where she has to be.
Yeah, it's brilliant having her on the team.
Yeah, definitely. And today I thought Samantha Lay. Right from the start, she was very consistent too. Got good speed. Yeah. She was really eye-catching today and quite influential, I thought, and particularly going forward.
Yeah, no, it's great having that little bit of speed on the ice as well. She works well with whoever is out there with her wing partner as well. She hasn't been playing the game for that long. I'm not sure how long she's been playing, but she just keeps improving. It's great. Her skating, she comes from a figure skating background, I think, so it's great that she's got that ability and give her a half stick in the hand and she fires a lot of shots away.
No, she was fantastic. So tell us what it's like with from the perspective of being in goal, because that must be one of the toughest jobs around.
Yeah, yesterday was definitely one of the hardest games I've ever played. It was intense. Every time that Adelaide were getting in the puck, if it was coming down on a breakaway, I just have to be on my game, just that switch on just that little bit more. Couple of unfortunate goals yesterday, nothing I could have done about it. Deflections here and there, a few screens. They were great goals, and same thing with Ash today. The goals that were on her, they're fantastic goals. Sometimes you can put the best goalie in there. There's just nothing you can do about it.
Because I think you and Belinda for Adrenaline, I think you both had a tough day yesterday. Because yesterday was it was an unusual game. It seemed to be very intense, a little bit scrappy. And when something happened, it just exploded. Like it just happened out of the blue, and it just seemed like no one had time to counteract it.
Yeah, well, I think going into this weekend, we obviously knew it was going to be tough, but at the same token, I don't think Adrenaline were sure what we were going to bring to it. So we both just went out hard, just did whatever we could, and that's why the game was so intense how it went. But this morning, came into it, we knew a little bit more what to expect. We made less errors in there as well, and we just couldn't put enough goals away.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Today's game was a lot more open, a lot more freedom, quicker. The penalties, there was a lot of penalties over the weekend, and both sides copped a bit, but I think you probably copped the brunt of the penalties. Is that something that was out of your, if we're going to be polite, was something that was out of your hands, or is it something that is an element of the game this weekend that you have to think about?
You know what, unfortunately, I don't think decisions were going our way. I think some of them were a few unfair calls. We would have a player who was hooked that would be let go on, but because the stick's getting caught in the hand, the holding penalty. So I don't think it was the best strikes that were out there, unfortunately. But you know, some things you just can't control. Get over it. You just got to play the game as you can.
Do you think in game one particularly, I think it was the second calls that were made a lot. The first calls were missed.
Well, especially yesterday, there were you know, we only had 2 guys out there running the game.
Yeah.
So that always just gets a little bit, okay, well, who's calling what?
Yeah.
You know, today there were 3 stripes that were out there, and so we knew who the ref was, what it, you know, which penalties he was going to call, basically. But I think over the weekend there were a few unfair calls, and some shouldn't have been called, some were totally missed.
Yeah. So it's not something that you guys are worried about, as in we've got to curb a penalty situation so much. It's just something you take out of the weekend, and it was what it was.
I mean, we try to. We're not obviously disheartened too much about that. Out of our control, nothing we can do. We just need to keep remembering to play some smart hockey. Obviously, we're still going to be going, you know, aggressive. We're going to go in hard, no matter who the opposition is. And if the referee calls it, well, they call it. Nothing we can change about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And also just to thank you guys for an absolute entertaining weekend of hockey.
Oh,
absolutely great. Probably the best 2 games we've seen here, I think.
Definitely.
So it just had everything.
Just wait for the next round.
Yeah. So no, thank you very much, and thanks for your time here today as well.